Hi guys, Claire here from Brave. I know everyone who's booked in today, so nice to see all of you guys. And should be able to hear me, which is great. So I've got a couple of little injuries I'm dealing with at the moment, so I'm going to be doing some adaptions and Ross will be doing the full versions of the poses. So I have a slight pec injury, which is fine, but I'm just going to look after it, and also my knee. So I'm going to be doing alternations for injuries. So if you want to downgrade, if you have any shoulder, wrists, or knee injuries, you can watch me. Otherwise, I'll be cueing what Ross is doing today to step it up and make it a little harder. So if you want to follow along with the music, you can play number 8, but just hold off for a moment because we're going to start with a little meditation. So I recommend just getting your playlist ready and then finding your way to a seat. What you'll need today is a block and a knee pad. As you know, I always rave on about knee pads and how important they are, so I would recommend that you have one for today's class. I put a block under my sit bones because what it will do is it will give you a bit of an anterior pelvic tilt, which then lets your knees relax down onto the floor. If you have a knee injury, you can also just sit with your knees like this. And we'll start today just with some breathing. And I'm playing with one of the yoga philosophy ideas of oneness today. And we'll use this little meditation to explain what that means. So as you inhale through the nose, feel the oxygen going into your body. And imagine all of the lungs absorbing and taking that into the bloodstream. And then try and follow the blood around the body, the oxygenated blood. And really start to feel this life force of breath. And be in awe of yourself, how amazing this body is for what it does for you with every single breath. And as you breathe in, feel that life enter the body. And as you exhale, feel yourself relax and letting out anything that isn't serving you today. Let your shoulders relax. Maybe bend the elbows a little bit to release through the arms. Maybe create space between the teeth so the jaw can relax. Now spend a moment to think about your body and how interconnected it is with the environment around you. The food that you consume becomes your body, feeds your body. And what is not needed leaves the body. And one day, our body will also become the earth. And this connection and cycle of life is the only certainty in life. We consume from the earth, which creates the body, and then the body creates the earth. This is a concept of oneness in yoga. A cycle, a connection. And we also connect to each other because we have a lot more in common than we have things that are different. We all want love, connection, and happiness. And through that alone, we can find connection to others that we do not even know. The desire for happiness. And through acknowledging the connection, we realize that we are never really alone. Bringing your hands to your heart center, taking a big breath in. And exhale, release. So we'll start on our playlist now. If you want to press play, we'll be on the same times together. And we will start in a side bend. So we'll bring the right foot in towards the body and extend the left leg in and the right leg out. And today I have Ross demoing, so he's going to be doing the full version of the poses because of my injuries. So we'll reach the left hand up and we'll exhale, side bend over towards the right. So I have my right hand on the inside of my right leg and I'm rotating my shoulder open towards the roof and relaxing my neck and head down. So imagine that right ear is almost going towards that right shoulder. Create space between the teeth and maybe give the jaw a few little rotation circles. And just being mindful that we're not very warm yet, so don't take this to the full extension of your normal side bend. This is just early in the class. Exhale, that top hand goes up and over towards the left as we feel this release through the side of the neck. Now, the more that you do these, the more that you'll be able to let your head be heavy and feel that stretch. If you're holding on and you're not feeling the stretch, I like to use my hand underneath my cheek to take the weight of my head so I feel safe to release the head weight. Once you've been doing it for a while and you feel a little bit more relaxed, you can just release the head. Making sure that shoulder's rotating up so it's not going down towards the floor and closing the chest. The chest is opening and an external rotation of the shoulder will increase the stretch. Hand position 3, we reach behind us and maybe come into a bind where the hand may be able to touch your right thigh. Otherwise, just rest your hand on your lower back. So I'll show you, because I have a slight pec injury, I'm just going to be going here today, which is not so open in the chest. So take which variation feels okay. If you are feeling really bendy, you might rotate all the way over and touch the thigh. Again, the stretch should be through the back of the neck. The more you rotate your shoulder open and side bend, the more you'll feel through the neck. And the more you let your right ear fall to the right shoulder, the more you'll feel through the neck release. To come out of the pose, release the hand first. Right hand comes under the right knee to bend the knee. And then we go to swap to the other side. So the left leg goes out and the right foot in. 2 fists in between the foot and the thigh is good. We're going to place the left hand on the inside of the left leg, reach up through the right hand, bend through the elbow, and maybe start to fold over. Now you will notice one side is better than the other. For me, because my hammy on the other side is tighter, this side I can go a lot further. So just observe that. And then let your ear fall towards the left shoulder. I like to move my head a little bit because my neck sometimes doesn't want to let go. You should be feeling the stretch here through the side body. If you rotate that shoulder towards the roof and pivot the shoulder so it's in the socket and reaching towards the side wall, this is when your side body will really open. Rolling that top armpit towards the roof, relaxing neck and head even more. Bending a little bit through that supporting leg, if you have tight hamstrings, also is welcomed. Or if you have a knee injury, it's also a good choice. Second hand position, arm comes up and over, points towards the other side, but the fingers are off the floor. Keep the fingers active, keep neck and head relaxed. Left ear to left shoulder even more. Release the jaw. Rotating that shoulder up towards the roots. We're opening the chest to make sure that side body is getting a stretch. Closing the eyes and connecting to your breath. Third hand position, we come to the bind. So the right hand comes behind you, maybe grabs the left thigh. That's the full bind. Otherwise, just resting your hand on your lower back as you rotate that top shoulder open and work on shoulder rotation first. Then release neck and head again. If you're in the full bind, this is going to intensify the external rotation of the shoulder, but also the neck release. Again, that connection to oneness, to breath. The word yoga also means union, which is a great connection to this class because it's a union of the mind, the body, and the soul. So the left hand comes under the left side of the face, takes the weight. As you slowly come up, release the hand. And the left hand comes behind the back of the left leg to bend it. This is so we don't pull once we've had a lot of release in the leg. And we come down onto our backs. You'll need a block for this, so make sure you have it with you. So I'll just demonstrate what I'm trying to do here so you can understand. So we have our hips, which I talk a lot about tilting the tailbone. And the reason why I do that is for a neutral pelvis. So if you have an anterior tilt, which means you have a pelvic tilt towards the front, and you'll get this back bend and a chest open, this is all really damaging for your lower back. If you have a posterior tilt, it means your pelvis is tilted this way, and it means you end up hunched over like this. All right, so a neutral pelvis is when the tailbone is tilted, but the back is nice and long, and it's not anterior or posterior. It's just in between. So this is why we're doing this next exercise. So if you get your block, pop it under your back. So we're placing it under the sacrum. So that was misconcepted word there. So not your back, it's your sacrum, the hard part at the base of your spine. So not on the glutes, not on the upper back, but that little hard bit at the base of your spine, the sacrum. So from here, we're going to make sure we're tilting the tailbone, squeezing the glutes, pushing the heels into the floor like a low bridge. Now we're going to bring, I'll do the left side so you can see me. I'm going to bring the left side in towards my face, the knee. I'm going to flex my foot, my shin's parallel to the floor. My right hand's going into the top of the femur where the femur enters the hip. I'm going to bring the knee in towards my face. But I'm going to make sure my pelvis is not moving. And then inhale down. And then the other side. So I'm going to bring that right knee in towards my chest. Left hand goes into the hip socket where the femur enters the hip. And then bend the knee in. This is to make sure that your hips are not twisting in any way, that they're even. Inhale back to center. Now we're going to remove the block and do the same thing. Low bridge. So you're going to hold yourself here with your glutes. So from here, we're going to use that left one again. So right hand goes onto the inside of that hip. I'm going to lift the left leg up and then exhale in towards the body with that flexed toe. So bend the knee and flex the toe, Ross. Bend your knee. Yes. And then inhale to come back. Other side. So we're going to bend the right knee in towards the body with shin parallel to the floor. Flex the foot. Left hand into that socket and then bring it in towards the body. But don't make sure your pelvis isn't twisting. You want that neutral pelvis still. Inhale to come back. Exhale to release. So we're going to step it up, make it a little harder this time. Take a breath in. Exhale, rise up. Just a low bridge, not a high bridge. Left side. So we're going to bring that knee in towards the body. But that right hand this time is going to push into the quad, and then the quad is going to push into the hand. So leg pushing into hand, hand pushing into leg creates tension, which makes it harder. Push into the heel on the right foot, so the glute on the right side is working. Now you can hold it here, or your option in little pulses. So we'll go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knee. Stay up, other side. So we're going to exhale, bend the knee in towards the face, push the left hand into the right quad, push the quad into the hand. You got it. Lower your foot a little bit, Ross, and flex your toe. Perfect. I'm telling you, Mom. Now, option here, you're going to push into that left heel, and we're going to do 10 pulses. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower both the legs and gently come down. Exhale. Hands come behind the neck and head, elbows towards the roof. Bring the shins so they're over the hips. Flex the feet, shins parallel to floor. Perfect. Breath in to prepare. Exhale, bring head and shoulders up towards the knees. And we're going to straighten the right leg and bring it to 70 degrees. So 90 straight up, 70 is just here, yeah? Inhale, come back to center, knees come back to center. Exhale, again, the other side. So we're going to straighten that left leg to 70 degrees. Keep the right knee bent. Inhale back. Going to go a little faster. Exhale, 70 degrees. Inhale. Exhale, left leg 70 degrees. Come up, bring head and shoulders up. Exhale. Inhale, exhale to the other side. So right leg straightens. Inhale down. Exhale left. Try and bring the head and shoulders up even more. Inhale. Exhale right, almost there. One more each side. Inhale down. Exhale left. Inhale. Exhale. And all the way down to the floor. Windscreen wipe the legs from side to side. Last step. We have another 8. We're going to take it to the next level. We're going to work on the core a lot today. So interlace hands behind neck and head, elbows up to the roof. Bring the knees over the hips, flex the toes, shin parallel to floor. Elbows to the roof, not out to the side. Breathe in to prepare. And exhale both elbows to left knee, 70 degrees in the right leg. Inhale back to center, keep neck and shoulders up. Exhale both elbows to right knee, straighten left leg 70 degrees. Inhale back to center. Exhale both elbows to left knee, straighten right leg. Inhale to center. Exhale other side. Inhale back to center. One more each side. Exhale to left knee. Inhale to center. Exhale to right. Now stay with me. Inhale to center. Exhale both elbows to left knee, straighten right leg. Right hand goes over towards the outside of the left quad. So we're stretching over. Hold. Yeah, you're doing good, Ross. That's perfect. For 3, for 2, for 1. Start to feel it. Inhale back to center. Exhale other side. So we're doing the same thing, but we're just left hand is reaching over towards the right side. Try and bring head and shoulders up even more to feel more intensity. Inhale back to center. Exhale to come down. Nice job. Windscreen wipe the legs from side to side. And maybe you have a little rock and roll here, or if you are working with an injury, just roll to the side and push yourself up with a relaxed neck. And come into dolphin. So if you do have any knee injuries, I always rave about padding up the knees. So I have an old mat here that I put under my knees. So coming into a dolphin, we're going to put our elbows onto the floor, grab our biceps, hands out in front of you. If you have a shoulder injury, you can bind the hands as well. So just have a play with what feels better for you. Tuck the toes. We're going to bend the knees and pick the knees up just off the floor. If you have a shoulder injury, you can stay here. Otherwise, walk the feet in for dolphin. Now, the more you walk your glutes over your arms, the harder it's going to be for your shoulders. So if I keep my knees bent, it's going to take some pressure out. So I'm going to come a little closer. We're going to inhale, reach the left leg up. And we're going to do the same thing with the pelvis. We're going to exhale, just bring the knee into the chest, but keep the pelvis neutral. Exhale. Inhale to rise. Do another 4. Exhale. Inhale, rise. Another 3. Inhale, rise. 2. Release the neck and head. Look towards your feet. Inhale. And last one. Exhale. Inhale, rise. Lower the leg. Let's do the other side. Stay up if you can. Right leg rises. Exhale, knee into chest. Keep the pelvis neutral. Inhale up. Exhale in. We've got another 3. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale, rise. Release neck and head. Look towards feet. Exhale. Inhale.
Keep that neutral pelvis. We have one more. Breath in to rise. Breath out, knee to chest. Then lower down. Woo. Maybe a little child's pose. Catching that breath. When you're feeling ready, hands up, and we'll push into a downward facing dog. So with your down dogs, you always have an option to do turbo down dog. If you want to really work on that shoulder strength and push yourself a little more, I'll show you what it looks like just for those of you who do want to take it to the next level. You're going to bend your elbows and then squeeze them in towards each other. Release the neck and head by looking towards belly. This is going to work your serratus anterior and also your shoulders. So it's just for those of you who do want to work on that shoulder strength. It's an option every time you come into down dog. Straighten the arms, look between the hands, step between the hands. Inhale to rise up halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, bend through the knees, slowly roll up. Hands through heart center, reach up. Breath out, fold forward. Breath in, halfway. Breath out, hands to floor. Option to step or to jump back. Coming into plank. If you have a shoulder injury, you can bring your knees onto the floor, or you can move through your chaturanga. Ross is going in early. And your option, if you don't want to do your high to low plank, is you can just stay in your high plank, or you can do a little cat-cow. So that's what you'll see me doing today. Otherwise, you can follow Ross for the vinyasa. Look between the hands, step the feet between the hands. Inhale to flat back. Exhale to fold. Bend through knees, slowly roll up. Hands through heart center, reach up. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hands to floor. Option to step or to jump back into high plank. Then move through your flow. Option to lower the knees and come down with the elbows tight towards the body. Inhale to up dog, roll shoulders back, open chest, squeeze the glutes, and exhale, down dog. Look between hands, step or jump forward between hands. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we roll up through the body, roll up through the spine. Hands come up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Breath out, hands to floor. Step or jump back into plank. Now, Ross, I want you to move a little slowly with my voice this time. So bring the chest forward and bend through the elbows. Slowly lower down like a plank. Perfect. Then breath in, upward facing dog. Roll shoulders back, open chest. Release the head. And then exhale into down dog. Beautiful. And I'll meet you in down dog. Pedaling out the legs here. Getting into those hamstrings. And a really great way to release the neck is actually look towards the belly button. So that is going to give you a straight, uncompressed neck. Inhale, the right leg rises up. Exhale, sweep between the hands. Get nice and low through the legs. Inhale, come up, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. So we're opening the hips here. We're getting deep into that front knee, gaze towards the front middle finger, and lift the toes on the front foot, push through the heel, get deeper into the legs like Ross if your knees are happy. Exhale, hands to floor. Move through your flow, step back, move from high to low plank. Inhale to up dog, maybe some little chaturanga push-ups like Ross did, and then exhale into downward facing dog. Inhale, the left leg rises up. Exhale, sweep between the hands. Inhale, rise, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. So again, hips are opening. Get deeper into that front knee if you have a happy knee. And you want to make sure the knee is in the center of the foot, more towards the pinky toe, not tracking in over the toes or the other direction. The knee wants to be going the same direction as the toes. Exhale, hands frame the front foot. We flow. High to low plank, one-legged chaturanga an option. Inhale to up dog. And exhale, we meet in downward facing dog. Right leg rises, breath in. Exhale, sweep between the hands. Inhale, crescent lunge. Option to come deeper into the legs if you want to go more into flexibility. Exhale, warrior two. Front heel in line with the instep of the back foot. Flip from palm, reverse your warrior. Reach up and back. Maybe there's a bind behind you if your chest is happy. Come deep into that front knee if your knees are also happy. Lift the toes on the front foot. If your knee is a bit funny, you can just not go as deep into the knee. Exhale, we come into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Straighten the front leg, reach forward and tilt down. And that top hand can come up above you. Option for a bind if your chest is okay. So coming behind you, maybe grabbing the thigh on that right side. I'm not going to do that because my chest is not very happy today. If your knee is injured, just bend the knee a little. We're going to open the chest. Exhale, extended the side angle. So your options are to rest on your quad or bring your hand to the floor. Try to roll that chest open, relax neck and head towards that right shoulder. Now, if you push your arm into your knee, it'll open your thighs. And if you bring your hips forward and square your hips between your legs, you're going to feel a much bigger opening in the hips. So if your glutes are back, you're not going to be feeling the hip opener. So see if you can bring the hips forward. Option here is your bind. So I'm going to stay here. A half bind could be your hand resting on your back, or a full bind, which Ross is going to do, reaching behind you into a full bind. And if you have that, coming into your bird of paradise. So stepping your back foot forward and gently coming up. If you do make it up, you can start to straighten that leg. Beautiful. Take a couple of breaths, and when you're ready to come down with control like Ross, and meet us back in your extended side angle. Exhale, hands to floor, frame the front foot, step back into plank. Now your options here, I'll show you a variation, and Ross is doing the full variation. Right hand into the center of the mat, open up towards the left. I'm doing the variation, so I'm going to come down onto my elbows and my knee, and then lift your top leg up and arm up if you want to step it up. Otherwise, you can leave that foot down. So coming into your side plank, whichever variation you feel you need today. Hold for one more breath. Relax neck and head. Then exhale, hands come down, maybe a one-legged chaturanga as you come down to the floor. For me, I'm doing a cat-cow. And then we'll meet each other back in our downward facing dog. Pedaling out the legs. Inhale, the left leg comes up. Exhale, sweep between the hands. Rise up, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Gaze towards front middle finger, get deep into the knees. Flip front palm and reverse, reach forward. Maybe there's a bind and reach back. So because my chest and I have some injuries, you'll notice I'm not going so deep, whereas Ross can go a little deeper. Exhale, coming out to warrior two, straighten that front leg, reach forward and tilt down into your triangle pose. Now you can just let your head and neck relax. So gaze towards the foot or the lower arm. Reach through that top arm. Maybe bend that supporting leg if you're having injuries in the hamstring or the knee. See if you can pull that right hip back towards the back foot to open the hips. One more breath here. Then exhale, come into extended side angle. Option one, you can rest on the quad. Option two, hands to floor. Option three, reach behind you into a half bind or a full bind if that's in your practice. If you have the full bind, you can step forward into bird of paradise. Maybe rise up. Maybe straighten the leg. Once you get up is the last level. When you're ready and you've had enough, you can come down with control and meet us back in our extended side angle. Exhale, hands come down to frame the face as we place the left hand in the center of the mat and we twist over towards the right. I'm going to pad up my knee on this side because I have a knee injury. And coming into side plank, my option is knee down and on elbow. So you can also rest that lower leg down or raise it up. If you have a bind, you're welcome to take it as well. One more breath. Exhale, lower the leg. Option one-legged chaturanga or chaturanga push-ups. Come down to the floor. Breath out. Breath in, upward facing dog. And breath out, downward facing dog. Pedaling out the legs here a little. Inhale, reach the right leg up. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale to rise. Exhale, knee to left elbow. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, knee to left elbow. I've done it the other way around, but it's fine. Inhale, back up. Bend the knee, bring the foot towards the glutes. Open the quads. So when you bring the foot towards the glute, you're going to feel more stretch through that quad. And then bring the knee towards the roof, which is going to open in the hip. If you have a knee injury, like me on the left, I'm going to bend that knee and not go so deep. If you want to flip dog, you can flip over onto your side. Can you do flip dog, Ross? Okay, Ross can't do flip dog, but some of you will know what that is. I can do it on the other side, but not this side. And then when you're ready, come back to a three-legged dog. Straighten that back leg. Exhale, sweep the foot between the hands. Get low into your legs and come up into arrowhead. Exhale. So we're getting long through the head, and the hands are behind us, pointing toward the palms, pointing towards the floor like an arrow is shooting through the top of our head. Push through the heel on that front leg. Lift the belly off the front thigh. Get deep into the knee. Extended arrowhead. Pistol grip with the hands. Reach forward, chin to chest. Strong through the legs. Push through the back heel. Push into the front heel. Exhale, we lift up. Keep hands in arrowhead. Breath in. Exhale, hands to heart. Exhale, warrior two. Open up. Now, option here to bind. I'm not going to do it, but Ross, can you reach behind you and bind your hands? Yeah, perfect. So you can bind your hands. Try to open the chest towards the center here. Beautiful. Rolling that top shoulder open. It's going to get to open the shoulders. Exhale, come back into warrior two. And then come into extended side angle. So we're reaching down towards the floor, and that top hand is up. Release that neck and head even more. Option here to open again through that chest if you want to, just an option. And then exhale, hands come down to the floor. Step back and flow. So I'll just do a little cat-cow here. And I'll meet you back in down dog. Breath in, left knee raises up. Exhale, knee to nose. I'll do this on my knees so people can also see this version. Inhale up. Exhale, knee to right elbow, crossing over the body. Inhale, back up. Exhale, knee to left elbow. Inhale to back up. Bend the knee, open the hip. So you want your shoulders to be even, like Ross here. He's not twisting open into the shoulders. All of the opening is happening in the hip socket. So those of you who do want to come into flip dog, I can do it on this side because my injury is on the other side. So I flip over onto my back and open my chest. So not as open as I would normally be because I'm watching my chest. Hips are towards the roof, bend the knees. Keep the glutes switched on, release the neck. When you've had enough, come back into your downward facing dog with the left leg risen up. Exhale, sweep between the hands. Get low into the legs. And then when you're ready, rise up into arrowhead. If you have a knee injury, just don't go as deep into the knee. And reach through the neck and head, chin to chest. Push through your back heel, push into your front heel. Raise the toes on your front foot to turn on fibularis and tibularis anterior, which are muscles that connect into your knee. Super important for knee stability. Exhale, extended arrowhead. Pistol grip, reach forward, chin to chest. Get long through the legs, get deep into the legs. Feel the legs shaking. Hold it, one more breath. Exhale, warrior two, come up. Opening the chest, so opposite way this time. So the left arm over, right hand behind you. Maybe binding. For me, I'm just resting my hands on my back. Stay deep into the front knee. Watch that knee is not tracking in or out. It should be right in the middle of your foot, and you should be able to see your toes. Exhale, warrior two. Breath in. Exhale, extended side angle. So choosing your option, maybe hand comes behind you to bind, maybe a full bind. Exhale, hands come down, and time to flow. For me, I just come into a little cat-cow. And exhale into down dog. Look between the hands and gently walk up, taking little steps or a jump if that's in your practice, and we'll come into a squat. So if you do have a knee injury, a great thing to do in Malasana squat, yogi squat, is place a block underneath the glutes. This is going to take the pressure off the knees, and you actually lean into that block. It's also going to just allow you to open the hips but not take pressure on the knee. For me, it feels okay today to just come into a squat, so I'm going to just honor that and come here. So we've got a few options for you today. The first one is you're going to reach the right hand down so that your right shoulder is in line with the right knee, and reach the left hand up. I'm going to stay here because I've got a chest injury, but Ross is going to reach behind and come into a bind. So you can follow Ross if you want to come into a bind and open the chest and the shoulders. So I'm going to stay here and release my right ear towards my right shoulder and work on releasing my jaw and opening the hips by pushing gently on that thigh. Inhale. If you're staying with Ross, you can come into your baby bird of paradise, which is you're going to bring your left foot underneath you to support you, and then slowly step up. Can you do that one, Rosso? You can't do that one. I think I can do it. I can do it on the other side, so I'm going to have to show you on the other side. Those of you who've been doing my class for a while know your baby bird of paradise. Inhale, come back to center. He thinks boys can't do it. Okay. Left hand down beside you. We'll go the other side. I can show you on this side. So reach that right hand up. Release that left ear to left shoulder. Maybe hands come behind you to bind behind your back. So I can manage here. And with the baby bird of paradise, you bring that right foot underneath you, come up onto the tippy toes of the left foot, and use that bind to hold your leg as you rise up and point the toe. So you can open your chest more than what I'm doing now, but I'm kind of hunching forward because my pec is not very happy. So I'm honoring that injury, and slowly come down with control when you're ready. Back into your squat. Bring your hands together, Malasana squat, knees apart. Support yourself with a block if you need it, or a lunge box. Bring your elbows on the inside of your quads and use that to push them out. So this is deepening the groin stretch. Actually feels quite nice to sit on a block. If you do want to try it, it actually feels quite good. Exhale, coming out of this, we'll come into a baby crow. If you're working on full crow, please feel free to come into that. It's just a extended version of what we're doing today. So I'm padding up my knees, coming down, preparing for almost a dolphin pose. We're going to grab our biceps and bring our hands forward, spread our fingers wide. Come onto the tippy toes and walk the knees in until the knees rest on the tops of the backs of your arms. Look forward, lean forward as much as you can, and eventually you might have enough to lift the toes up and point them behind you. Yeah, well, Ross is doing full crow. That's a full version you can do. Maybe you do a jump back if you're in a full crow. Yeah, perfect. And then exhale to come down. We'll come through our flow, and we'll meet back in downward facing dog when you're ready. Pedaling out the legs, releasing the neck. Inhale, reaching the right leg up. Exhale, sweep between the hands. Come deep into the lunge. So we've got a few options here today. Ross is doing the full version with the knee on the floor, and I'm doing the injured knee version with the leg up, more in strength. So pad up the back knee, come deep into a lunge, and let your hips sink forward. So we're coming into that place of flexibility. You want to check that your iliacus, or the top of your hips, are even to the top of your mat. So it's quite difficult to do, but just see if there's a twist in the hips. We want this to be even. Reach forward through the chest, chin to chest, gently reach through the top of the head. Now, gently come up into your lunge. We're going to interlace our hands on our quad to come up. Ross is going to keep his back knee down. Mine is lifted, more in strength. Open the chest, push gently into that quad, and then take the quad forward to deepen the hip stretch. Runner's lunge. Breathing here. Exhale, hands to floor. We're going to come into a half split. So if you're with me, we're going to come into a pyramid. So we're just starting to straighten the back leg, and Ross is coming into a half split. Beautiful. Same cues here. The hips are even, so pull that left hip forward because it wants to track backwards. Reach forward through the chest. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, we lengthen back into a low lunge. And exhale, back half splits or pyramid pose if you're with me. So we're trying to keep that back nice and straight. Exhale into deep lunge, lizard pose, walking that right foot over towards the right side of the mat. Maybe your hands are up or maybe you're coming down onto your elbows. Now, if you have a knee injury, you can stay with me, which is lifting that thigh off the floor. Ross has his left knee to the floor, more coming into a surrendering flexibility position, whereas what I'm doing now is strength. So you can choose which one you want to focus on, and it's also depending on how happy your knee is. Take one more breath here. If you're in the strength version, we're going to come up onto the palms of our hands. So you come up as well, Rosso. And I'm going to lower my back knee just for this one and lower the back behind me. Ross is going to come into flying dragon. So he's going to rotate on the outside of his right foot and bring his right hand on the inside of his thigh, gently opening the thigh and gazing over his right shoulder, keeping a micro bend in his left elbow so that he's not locking the joints out. There is an option to grab the back knee if you want to go there. I just say be gentle with the knee, only if your knee is happy. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, we're coming into into pigeon. So Ross is going to walk his foot over. I'm going to come onto my back into figure four, which is the same thing. It's just a little bit less pressure for the knee because you're not using gravity. So with figure four, I'm going to cross over my leg and then grab through the center and gently bring my thigh in. If you're in your pigeon, if most people should point their foot, unless your shin is parallel to the front of the mat, then you can flex your foot. But if it isn't, if you point your foot, it's going to protect your knee as well. If there's any pain in the knee, that's the one place you shouldn't feel it. So please come out and try figure four on your back. Connecting back to that oneness, the breath. And this time of COVID-19 is a really interesting time because we are really in this together, all of us. It's a way that we can connect. There's not really anyone who isn't touched by this. Seeing if you can connect to your body, to the breath. Listen to the sensations the body is giving you. Maybe back off if there's any sharp pain, or if it feels good, you can take it a little further. So if you want to take it deeper, you can lift your left foot up, come up onto your tippy toes, and then walk the foot back a little bit and lower it down. This will deepen into the hips. Or maybe reach the chest up as you inhale and exhale to get length through the chest and fold a little further forward. Gently coming out of the pose, so rising up onto your hands, or if you're in figure four, bringing your feet onto the ground, and we'll meet each other back in downward facing dog. Pedaling out the legs. Bending one knee and straightening the other to get into those hamstrings. Releasing neck and head, giving it a little shake, gentle nod or shake of the head. Inhale, the left leg raises up. Exhale, sweep between the hands. Now getting your padding ready if you're going to be putting your knee on the ground. So for Ross, he's placing that right knee down. I'm staying up in strength because my knee is a little sore. So we're going to push through that back heel for me and suck everything in and up, whereas Ross is going to reach his hips forward and coming into more flexibility. His hands can be on the floor or coming into the elbows if you're really bendy and you want to go there. Coming up into a lunge, we interlace the hands on the front quad. Ross is leaving his bottom knee down and he's going to come up onto the quad. And he's going to push down and then with that push, invite that femur forward, which is going to deepen into the hips. Roll the shoulders back and down if they creep up near the ears. Now even the hips, so bring that right hip forward and left hip back so your stretch is even. Tilt your tailbone, lift through chest. One more breath. Exhale, hands to floor. Inhale to lengthen through chest and exhale into half splits. So I'm coming into pyramid. So my feet are on train tracks. I'm straightening through both legs and trying to invite the hips to be even with the front of the mat. The same cues with your half splits. You want your hips to be even, so invite that right hip forward and the left hip back so that you're getting an even stretch. Inhale, come back down into low lunge. Open the chest maybe. See what feels good. I have my back knee lifted. Ross has his down. Exhale, half splits or pyramid pose. Again, just seeing with your pelvis, you want to make sure that your back is straight and we're not hunching or curving down. We're going to lengthen through chest and fold from the hips so the back is as straight as possible. Bring your chin into chest, which is going to neutralize the back of the neck and avoid compression. Inhale, come back into low lunge and lizard pose. So option to bring your hands onto the mat or you can come down onto your elbows if you're more bendy. You can do Ross's option, which is more flexibility, which is lowering that back knee onto the floor and allowing your weight to push you down, which is going to put more pressure on the muscles to release. With me, I'm actually using strength, so I'm engaging my quad to lift my hip up, push through my back heel, and push into my front heel. So this is building strength with a bit of flexibility as well, but more focus on strength. Releasing neck and head, so chin to chest. If you're in the strength version, stay with me. I know it's hard. So keep engaged through that back quad. That's the trick. One more breath. On the exhale, lower the back knee. Gently come up onto the hands. And Ross is going to show you flying dragon. So he's going to come onto the outside of the left foot, left hand on the inside of the thigh to invite the thigh open, gazing over the left shoulder. Micro bend in the right elbow to protect the joint so you're not clenched and causing injury. You're using muscle strength. Maybe you're reaching behind you with that left foot, the left hand, and grabbing the right foot into a bind, but not necessary if your knee is tweaky or your chest. It's just for those who are super bendy and want to go there. And exhale, gently coming out. Moving into half pigeon on the left. So if you have a tweaky knee like me, I'm going to come onto my back, come into figure 4, and gently my left foot is over the top of my right leg and I'm gently bringing it in the knee towards my body. Ross is on the floor in his pigeon, but you can also be up onto your hands or using a block under your head. There's a lot of different versions. You don't have to go all the way to the floor. Also making sure that your hips are even and you're not twisting to one side. You can use a block underneath the left hip here if you want to level off the hips. And again, I really like the yoga concept of oneness because it is a primary thing that the Dalai Lama also uses for fighting loneliness. And I know during COVID, with all of us being locked away inside on our own a lot, loneliness will be a really big thing for a lot of people. And knowing that we can connect through the fact that we are all isolated here in Melbourne and we're all going through our own levels of feeling loneliness. And in that knowledge, we know we are connected. And therefore, you are never really alone. And using this feeling maybe to reach out to more people, to create more Skype calls, get them into the diary with your friends, make that effort to connect. So we create structure to create change. So if you are not liking your current reality, you can change it and you do have that power. Breathing into this space, feeling into the hips. Last long exhale. Gently bringing the right knee down or coming up onto your hands if you're on the floor. And we'll meet each other back in a down dog, whichever variation you chose. Pedaling out the legs. So if you were in your pigeon, it's a more intense version of figure 4, so you might need a little bit of extra time pushing through the heels, through the backs of the legs here. Bring your knees between your hands, and we'll move into our final inversion. So you have a few options. You can choose a waterfall, which is just putting a block under your sacrum and bringing your knees up, or you can come into shoulder stand. Do you want to do restful inversion? So Ross is going to do restful inversion, and I'll do a shoulder stand, so you can do whichever one feels better for your body. So when you're in your shoulder stand, you want to make sure your arms are like a little tripod, and your feet are squeezed together, toes are pointed towards the roof, booty is on. To come a little bit more aligned, you can bring your knees in towards your chest and walk your hands a bit further down your back to get a better grip, more like a tripod. Mine's a little bit not perfect at the moment on my headstand, on my shoulder stand. Exhale, we're going to flex our feet, maybe come into plow if it's in your practice. So the feet come behind you. So because I'm a little bit stiff at the moment and injured, my feet are not touching the floor. But if your feet are touching the floor, you can bring your hands behind you like brakes. And just breathe into your plow or into your shoulder stand. To come out, the hands come behind you like brakes and push into the floor, palms facing down, as you slowly roll upper back, middle back, and lower back to floor. And you use your core to do this with control. I'm going to bend my knees to bring my feet down, but you can just bring your feet down in whatever way feels comfortable so you're flat on your back. If you were in waterfall, remove the block from underneath your sacrum. Fish pose, which is a counterbalance for shoulder stand. So bring the palms underneath the bum, and you want your palms facing down onto the floor. Roll your shoulders under as well, so from the roof you couldn't see your hands or your shoulders. I like to flex my toes, squeeze my legs together, chin towards chest, bend the elbows, look towards my feet like you're looking at someone on the beach, and then let your head fall back. This option means that you're not resting your neck on the floor and creating compression in the neck, which to me anatomically just doesn't make sense. So I would encourage you not to rest your head on the floor first before coming up. We're opening the chest here, letting the head fall back. It's the opposite direction to shoulder stand. To come out of the pose, chin gently comes towards the chest, straighten the arms behind you. and come down. Letting the feet fall wide. And exhale the right knee into chest, coming into supine twist. Pulling in the knee if it feels good. If you have a knee injury, just don't pull it in as hard. And exhale, twisting over towards the left. If you do have a knee injury, a nice thing to do is place a block under the knee so that your twist doesn't go too deep. If your knee is quite happy, you can actually just encourage the knee down to the floor, which is going to deepen through the twist. And keep both shoulders on the floor here. So this will really deepen your back bend. So you have a few options. Or spinal twist, not back bend. Inhale back to center. Straighten and lower that back onto the floor. Exhale, bring the left knee into chest and straighten through right leg. I have a knee injury on this side, so I'm just placing my hands behind my hamstring and gently bringing it in rather than placing pressure on my shin and my knee. Exhale, bring that knee over the top of the body. I'm going to use the block to rest my knee on it to make sure that the knee doesn't twist. And keeping the shoulders on the floor, opening the chest, gaze towards the ceiling. If you want to deepen it, again, you can encourage that left knee down to the floor. Keeping shoulders on the floor will get that really strong twist through the back. But also being mindful of your body and not pushing yourself too hard. Inhale back to center. And taking any last stretches you need. I always like to have a little happy baby because what this does is it pushes your lower spine into the floor and can sometimes realign any bones that may have been compressed after any of our back bends. The more that you pull into your feet and push your lower back into the floor, the more alignment you'll get through your lower spine. If you do have a knee injury, pulling on the feet is probably not a good idea because it can create tension in the knee. So just letting it relax. Coming into your final resting pose, your Shavasana. Taking any last movements you feel you need to feel absolutely and totally relaxed. If you want to connect to your breath, I invite you to bring one hand, so left hand on the heart and right hand on the belly. And use this as an opportunity to meditate or focus on the breath. And gently now starting to wiggle fingers and toes. Bringing yourself back into your body and back into the room. Exhale, maybe bring your knees into your chest and give yourself a big hug. If you have an injured knee, just grabbing behind your hamstrings and gently rocking from side to side. When you're feeling ready, rolling onto your favorite side and using your bottom arm as a pillow. Keeping your head and neck relaxed and eyes closed. Pushing yourself up to a comfortable seated position, eyes remained closed. And just resting the palms of the hands. And I'll finish the class today with a quote around oneness in yoga. To understand oneness, we must go beyond the mind, beyond the intellect, and beyond the ego. Oneness is always with us and connects us with everything. And I find if the concept is too difficult to understand when you first start with yoga, a good way to examine or imagine this is that every human wants happiness. This is the greatest desire of humans as a collective. And through that desire of happiness, we know that we have connection with each other because we are essentially wanting the same thing. And my favorite quote this week is that each person you meet is an aspect of yourself, clamoring for love. Bring your hands to your heart and gently open your eyes. Namaste, everyone. I hope that this class and this idea of oneness might help you or serve you in some way through this period of isolation of COVID-19. Even though we are physically apart, there is connection and community here, and I'm so grateful to have you here with us at Brave, and I hope you feel that you are part of the community here and we do have connection. Namaste, have a lovely day, and I will see you again soon. And we have a workshop tomorrow, a yin workshop at 10 o'clock, so you can all come to that if you want. Just book in. It's with Vicky. Super chill and stretchy. Hope to see you tomorrow.